Yeah.
All right. So, what were your thoughts on Rosted?
I
What are
mean,
your thoughts?
in my opinion, I didn't think he didn't have a bad game.
No.
I mean, Rosted, he's that third, fourth string center back that's decently reliable. Like, yeah, here and there he's not gonna be good. He's a little bit slow. He's a little bit behind the play a lot of times. But as a depth center back, I don't mind him. But for the money that we're paying him, we're not getting the best out of him. But cut your losses, bite your tongue, forget it. Just notice where he is on the picking order.
I find that Rosted plays better in a 2-back system, and they played with only 2 center backs, and I thought Rosted played well. He was very vocal out there. I mean, well within the circumstances. I mean, he's not shutting down players or anything like that. But you know what? They played a system, and I thought, you know what, for a person who hasn't truly won the starting role at center back, I think it's safe to say that Gomes has locked down a starting role.
Yeah.
Kevin Long he's locked down a starting role, and if we go with 2 backs, which I'm kind of hoping we do because we seem to look a little bit better with 2 backs. Monlouis and Rosted could be those players off the bench. So when you look at the center back position as a whole, I think we're okay. I think we're doing okay.
I think we're okay, especially if we continue with the 4-back. Besides our right back issue right now with Larea and Wingo now injured, we have to rely on a guy like either Cozy Thompson or Franklin. Or what I'd like to see is Fraser experiment a bit and even see if he can get Monlouis playing as a right back.
That's a good point.
Monlouis, he's fast, athletic, and he's a ball playing center back. So stick him on the right, and that forces Bernadeschi to be more offensive, right? Because if you have more of a defensive right back that doesn't go up the pitch a lot, I mean, I think he can go up the pitch, but if he stays back a bit more, it gives Bernadeschi a lot more room to attack. But let's go to Petretta.
Yep.
And I want to start by saying I think Petretta had a fantastic game against Vancouver. I say besides Johnson, he did very well. He shut down Jaden Nelson really well, who looked very dangerous, and he's a solid player. I don't know what else to say. He's a solid player. He's a solid starter. Again, I think he looks better in that 4-back formation, like Gomes and Rosted. But yeah, I liked his performance.
Yeah, Petretta was, again, nice to see Petretta in his natural left back position. At first, he was getting beat by Nelson, but Nelson he's not. So there's a difference between being quick and being fast. Nelson has both. Spicer is fast. He's not quick. But Jaden Nelson, you look one way, he's gone the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got this explosive quickness and speed to match that. And if there was the hardest working player out there was Nelson had something to prove. So Petretta
he had a lot on his plate.
Yeah, Petretta was defending the best Vancouver player out there.
And he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moved the ball. Yeah. So Petretta, good on him for having a great game.
Yeah. And then into the midfield, Osorio. Osorio played I think he played like an average Osorio game. Nothing special in my opinion. He was all right. Made a lot of errors like the rest of the team, but him and Coelho in the middle, I don't mind them, but definitely didn't. I feel like Vancouver's midfield definitely beat them out on the day easily with like Berhalter and a lot of other guys. I think they lost. I think they lost in the midfield battles today.
I'm going to say when we're talking about our players in the midfield, when we're talking about Coelho and Osorio, well, let's say those 2 players in particular in the middle, we have to be a little bit lenient, right? Because they're going to have the most touches on the ball, they're going to be under the most pressure, and just by virtue, they are going to make the most mistakes. I thought the team had a very difficult time getting the ball past half because we just could not connect passes. We just couldn't do that. That is a system. That's a system error. That is not playing with this starting 11 enough times and not knowing how to move the ball and how to flow. But you can see they're missing a lot of cues because they're essentially a new team out there.
Yeah. What I wanted to say, a little bit of tactical insight is, again, a lot of people harp on Insigne for not being as defensive, but they're right. Insigne doesn't come back and defend. So when you got guys like Osorio and Coelho, they're guys that always want the ball. They want the ball. They want to pass. They want to move. I don't know if you noticed, but the difference in the game when they subbed in Flores was a lot different. Having a guy like Flores in there who's fast, makes up ground, tackles, strong, not as good on the ball. I feel like he's a good aspect in the midfield that we need to complement guys like Osorio and Coelho. Because if we have the three in midfield with Flores, Osorio, and Coelho, they start to look a bit better because they're on the ball more, they're less exposed when they got Flores back there. But when you put them two and Insigne, they're exposed. They don't have a guy helping them out defensively, and they're left doing a lot of extra running. So I feel like having Osorio, Flores, and Insigne in there, if you're going to play them, as the best, I think, trio to best balance the midfield.
But with Coelho, even though I said, we have to give a little bit of leniency to our midfields, unfortunately, Coelho did not do good under pressure this game. I like him in more the attacking third or when he can play central, but they had a very high press. They were on him, and wow, I was disappointed in this game. I was. I'm a big fan of Coelho, but yeah, that was a little painful to watch. And like you said, when Flores came in, it did change the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you could say. Like, he's a young player. He's going to grow with the team, and I feel like he really needs that complement of Flores. Like, even when Coelho, and like it proved me right, the game against Chicago when Coelho and Longstaff started instead of Flores. It was tough. Like, those are two guys, again, that want to be on the ball, aren't as fast defensively, and you got these guys running extra mileage just to get the ball back, which they're not really good with. They're going to foul a lot. They're going to be behind the play. We really need that player. And if coming in Maxime Dominguez, if he's that guy that's physical and can win that ball, that's the type of profile we need. Or we just keep using Flores and improve with him.
But I mean, we just because we have Flores and Coelho, right? That doesn't mean they're part of our starting 11. They could be amazing depth players, right? That can get minutes, but if we want to win championships, they can be part of that championship team, but we need to improve in that area. And they're not there yet. They can be, but right now, I think we need to get better. And so I'm hoping Dominguez can, take in that role and be that quick, dynamic player that can move the ball and help ticky-tacky that ball up the pitch.
Yeah. And let's move on to the attack, I feel, especially at that game. Let's look at the left wing. Our left wingers, we've got three guys that can play there. I'm going to rule out Insigne because he's going to be playing in the central role regardless. We're going to have Corbianu, Spicer, or Etienne. And for me right now, the order is easily Spicer, number one. He's proved it game in and game out. He had a fantastic international break, and he came in off the bench and looked very good. I'm going to say Etienne second because I feel like he's great off the bench. He's got a lot of speed, and he's going to come in with fire like he did against New York. And then Corbianu, unfortunately, last. I mean, he's still got a lot of work to do. And apparently there's a clause where if he plays a certain amount of games with Toronto FC, they're obligated to buy him for next season. There's a certain clause in his contract. So if they're not liking what they're seeing, then he's not going to see the field.
Mm-hmm. No, excellent point. I mean, again, we got to look at this, and as much as Spicer, he's got that blaze. He's probably the fastest player in the MLS right now.
Well, one of the fastest.
Yeah. So I mean, but we're not going to win games with playing the long ball, right? I know we were trying to spring Ula up the middle with the long ball. We were trying to spring Spicer with the long ball. That seems a little desperate, in my opinion, right? We need to be able to keep possession of the ball, advance the ball up the pitch, and Spicer can use the speed, in the central third to beat those players or to have a nice through ball pass and get him behind the defense. But you know what? He had a great game. Hope to see him again next game. So, let's move on from that player.
I mean, Bernadeschi. Let's start with Bernadeschi. I mean, he's played every single minute of the season so far. And has he been producing? No. Has anybody been producing? No. So What do you mean? What can you say? I mean, I feel like he's playing his role. He's playing the right wing. Sometimes he's not in the right spot, but he's still always going to work hard, and he's going to be Bernadeschi. So he's patient, right? He's not going to lose his cool yet and start getting red cards and flipping off the ref and getting all this shit.
I think, you know what, we've seen him have better games. You know, this wasn't his best game, but with it, you know, with the circumstances, with that ball, you know, pretty much in our half for most of the game, you know, I think, I think it was okay. I think he played okay, but he had that nice cross into Flores, who headed that ball.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a beauty. And that, I mean, and again, you know, when you're paying your DPs, that's what you want them to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're yet to unlock the best from Bernadeschi, but the chances he does get, he's been very repetitive and very consistent of kind of screwing him up. Like on his own chances, he's whiffing shots kind of here and there. So I feel like he just needs a little bit more trust and time, work with the team, and he'll be good. But he's definitely a staple on that right wing, and he's going to be in our team.
But before we go on to Kerr and Ula, I did want to say I respect Robin Fraser again, you know, putting the best players in their best position. And it went without saying that, you know, Kerr deserved that starting role. But, you know, unfortunately, Kerr went down with that injury. But Ula he was warming up. He was going in at that 60-minute mark, regardless if Kerr got that injury or not. And you saw that on the sidelines with Kerr getting and with Ula getting warmed up. Unfortunately, Kerr, he got that nasty ankle roll, left the facility, or left the pitch, or the left BMO in a boot, in a cast, but
crutches,
a boot. And you know, if anybody's ever rolled their ankle before, you know, that soft tissue sprains, maybe 4 weeks. I mean, no reports have been out yet, but I think it's safe to say that you know, he's going to be on the mend for at least 4 weeks. And again, just speculation.
Yeah, and then you ask, where's our striker depth? And then, in my opinion, you've got a young, strong Ula. I mean, hopefully he avoids some of these injuries that he's been picking up mysteriously over the last weeks or so. But I want to see Ula playing every single minute until Kerr's back. There should be no reason you're subbing him out besides injury. You should be playing him thick and thin. This guy, you've got him on loan. He's proven his quality. There's nothing that he doesn't have that another player brings.
Yeah,
he's got the speed. He's got the strength. And I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure he's got the shot. Like he's called it himself when he signed with Toronto FC. He said, "I don't think there's any weaknesses to my game. So let's put that to the test."
Yeah, you know, he's showed some in the little bit that we were able to see, and he was excited. He was absolutely excited to introduce himself to the fans, and I can only imagine next game or next home game, I think we're going to see something special. I really do. I really and truly do. I think we're going to see something special. And, you know, I'm not too worried about the depth. I mean, strikers don't normally get that injured. But, you know, hopefully he's young, he's healthy, he can play. And, you know, if we need to rest him, you know, maybe that's where Etienne moves into that spot. Or maybe, you know, shift over Bernadeschi and put Corbianu on the right side. And, you know, if you need to change things up at the 70th minute or something like that.
We always have the personnel to fill in there offensively. There's no we're not like missing anything with Kerr leaving. We've still got players that can move around, but the only way we would miss Kerr is if Ula isn't playing. So he needs to be playing.
And Kerr, you know, respectfully, he is, and he's been acknowledged by the club as being our second striker. He's our number 2. So we didn't lose a starter, we lost bench depth.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully we can rebound from that.
Mm-hmm.